Thank you, Allison. This is a Putnam Energy Affordability presentation. And Putnam Energy Affordability is a partnership between Sustainable Putnam and the New York State Mid-Hudson Regional Clean Energy Hub, Putnam County office in particular, where Sean leads things there, and a number of partners that have joined with us in this campaign, who you see here on this slide. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of our partners. We couldn't do this work without you. Thanks for all you do to make this work possible, and of course the work that you all do for your nonprofits and your organizations. So a little bit about us. I am Joe Montuori, and I am the executive director of Sustainable Putnam. And I am also a New York State home energy advisor. I've been doing home energy consultations for about 5 years now. I've done over 200 homes, not including my own, but I have done my own, and I'll talk about that in a moment. I'm also have a certification from the Building Performance Institute in total building performance. My partner, Sean Seary, is the Putnam County Community Energy Advisor, and he works at the Mid-Hudson Regional Clean Energy Hub, and he holds a building analyst professional certification from the Building Performance Institute, and we'll be hearing from Sean later in the presentation. I actually wanted to start out with just a quick story about my own home. My wife and I moved to Mopac in 1989, where we raised a family, and it was an all-electric home. It was a Cape Cod style home, and it was built in the 1970s. It had single-pane windows. It was very drafty, not well insulated. Since 1989, we've done a lot of work on it. We've added a bedroom, et cetera, et cetera. But as far as this presentation tonight, what I wanted to tell you is in 2015, we got a home energy assessment, and we got the home insulated and air sealed, and it made a world of difference in our comfort level, and it brought down our electricity bills. We had an all-electric home with electric space heating, baseboard heating, very expensive, the most expensive way to heat a house. Then we got a heat pump hot water heater, brought down our electricity costs more. Then heat pumps for heating and cooling. We didn't have air conditioning, so that was great. Also reduced our energy costs. We added electric vehicles. We got an induction stove and so forth. So my point is that I've done all of these things to my home and brought my energy costs way down. The final step was adding solar panels, which reduced our bills by more than half, to the point where in 2024, my total energy bills, including powering my 2 cars for 20,000 miles over the course of a year, heating, cooling, cooking, electronics, et cetera, was $2,150 for the entire year. That's pretty incredible. I think you'll agree. So it is doable. Not everybody can achieve quite those results, but it is doable, and it's amazing what you can accomplish. Okay, so very quickly now about Sustainable Putnam. Our organization, our nonprofit, our mission is to develop thriving, healthy, and inclusive communities and an affordable and vibrant circular economy. And we do it through partnerships. I mean, we couldn't get this work done without partnerships and with our incredible volunteer base of over 100 people, including our board members, myself, and Allison Haig, who's maintaining the controls here tonight, who runs our food scrap recycling initiative and does all of our community engagement, all of our emails, our social media, does work on the website, et cetera. She's amazing. We've got a repair cafe program where we hold occasional events for repairing household items like small appliances, lamps, clothing that needs mending, bicycles, et cetera. We do it for free with expert volunteers with a particular, desire to help other people. We've got incredible climate smart task force partnerships with Putnam County, Putnam Valley, Town of Kent, and Town of Phillipstown. And Martha Upton, the director of the Phillipstown Climate Smart program, is here with us tonight. Thank you, Martha. And we hold a number of community events. Some of them are just social, like we hold a monthly green drinks event. It's just for people to get together and chat and make connections. We really believe that if we're not having fun along the way, that it's just not going to be worthwhile for us in the long run. Okay, so I do run the Clean Home Energy program, and I've got a new assistant, a new clean energy coach who's on the call tonight, also Paul Marini. Thank you, Paul. The goals of our program are really simple. There's basically three things that people want to do. They want to do either one, two, or all three of these things. Reduce your energy bills, right? That's number one right now, I think, for a lot of people. And you can do that by making your home more efficient. And you can also do that by shifting the technology you use to heat, cool, cook, and power your devices. And then the second goal is reducing household emissions. It might be the first goal for you. It's not just there's air pollutants, but there's also greenhouse gas emissions, right, that we all contribute to by burning fossil fuels. So by eliminating fossil fuels and shifting to clean electric sources of energy, or even just energy off of the grid, it's cleaner than just burning fossil fuels. You're helping to fight climate change. And then the last point is to make your home healthier and more comfortable, which is a pretty big deal. But by avoiding fossil fuels, that makes it a lot easier to do inside and outside of your home. So at Sustainable Putnam, we tend to direct people towards our 7 Steps program. This is a screenshot from the website, from the web page rather, for 7 Steps. I'm going to drop a link to that in the chat. And the 7 Steps program walks you through step by step, starting out with the easiest things to do, and then moving on to and free or very inexpensive, and then moves on to more expensive, longer term projects that require a bigger investment. Whoops, I just sent that to the waiting room there. And each of these items is its own web page. So if you go to this web page, you would click on number 1, number 2, number 3, and it opens up a whole nother page. And on that page is a slew of resources and information. And at the bottom of some of them, for example, page 3, 6, and 7, there's a list of contractors, local contractors that we've worked with, that Putnam residents have worked with and liked. We've also reviewed their Better Business Bureau rating and their Google reviews, and they're all NYSERDA certified. So, kind of a 3-pronged check there, 4-pronged, including reviews from our supporters. Yeah, I think we can talk about more about that later. 7 steps is kind of hard to remember. So here's an easier 3 steps. How's that? And an acronym to help you remember it. AWE, A-W-E. I have to credit my friend and building scientist and building energy analyst, Marcy Cleveland. She hails from Ulster County, came up with this idea. And AWE stands for assess, weatherize, and electrify. So the first step is really to assess your home and figure out what its problems are, what its weaknesses are. And a professional home energy assessment is one way to do that. NYSERDA certified assessors can do that for free, or they might charge a fee for a more sophisticated assessment, which I think both Sean and I would recommend if you feel like you can afford that. At most, it would cost $350, but it could be less than that. So that's one option. And with that, you'll get, a beautiful full color report with facts and numbers, metrics that kind of, measure how leaky your home is and how well insulated it is. And that's great to get that baseline so that when you do have work done, you have that test done again usually the contractor will do a follow-up test to show you the improvement. You know that you're going to be saving money as a result of that. If you don't want to go the professional route, you can do a do-it-yourself home energy assessment. And I'll talk a little later about how you can go about that. With the weatherization step, of course, insulation and air sealing are critical to reducing the need to heat your home or cool your home. If you had a leak in your bathtub, you wouldn't say, "Oh boy, I better turn on the hot water because it's running low." No, you'd plug the hole first, right? Well, it's the same thing with a house. You want to plug the leaks before you add more energy. It just makes sense, and it's more cost effective as well. Obviously, you can get that done professionally, or you can do it yourself, or at least some of it. Attic insulation, possibly basement insulation can be a DIY project. Finished walls, I don't know anybody who's done that on their own. I guess somebody's tried it, but you probably want to hire a professional for that. But that's actually the lowest, cost-effective insulation job to do. The attic is the most important. Basement is also very important, but the walls actually have less of an impact per dollar spent. And then the last step is to electrify your heating, your cooling, your water heating, your appliances. If any of your appliances are fossil fuel powered, like a propane clothes dryer or a propane or natural gas stove. And the reason for doing that is threefold. You're eliminating pollutants in your indoor air, your indoor air quality, outdoors, greenhouse gas emissions. You're making your home more comfortable for you and healthier for you. And you're reducing your costs because it costs less to power those appliances with electricity than if they're efficient appliances. And we can talk about that later too, than with fossil fuel powered appliances. And this is just, an illustration of some of the places you might, work on electrifying. They make a heat pump hot water heater now. I've had one since 2019. It works great. And it uses about a fraction of the electricity that my old electric hot water heater used. You can get an induction stove that's tremendously more efficient than a gas stove, a propane stove, or a traditional electric stove. And, the list goes on and on. The last thing, though, that you would probably want to do is add solar panels because you want to electrify everything first so that then you can size your system to power all of that. If you size your system so that it's larger than your usage, the utility will only pay you the wholesale rate for the excess electricity that you produce. So that's why we say electrify first and solarize last. So back to the DIY measures I mentioned earlier. As far as the do-it-yourself home energy assessment, this is a fantastic new company that's out there called Home Boost, and they offer a kit that if you live in Phillipstown, you can borrow this for free from your library. It's a collaboration between the Mid-Hudson Library System and the Home Boost Company and the utility Central Hudson to provide these for free. And if you don't live in Phillipstown, you live in New York State electric and gas territory, you can still order the kit online from Home Boost. It will cost you $99, but here's what you get for $99. They will mail you a little device that you plug into the bottom of your phone, whether it's Android or iPhone, and it turns your phone into an infrared camera. You also download an app from Home Boost, and it will guide you through the home energy assessment through your house. You're taking infrared photos, which show the heat loss in your walls, ceiling, floor, around your windows, exterior doors, etc. You upload all that information to Home Boost, and boom, within 2 or 3 days, business days, you'll get back a PDF report with detailed information about where your heat losses are coming from, or energy losses, because it could be cooling loss too. Where they are and what you can do about it. And most of the repairs or fixes are do it yourself. So it's really incredible. I used it on my sister's house because she does need some weatherization. And they got the report, they loved it, and they're getting estimates from contractors right now. They're not going to do it themselves, but you could. Um, so yeah, highly recommended. And then there's all kinds of other do-it-yourself measures you could do, and you can pick up the materials you need, the supplies at your local hardware store. Um, Installing weather seals on your windows and doors if they are drafty, if they're not sealing as well. When you pull the sash down, you can feel cold air coming in there. You can install weather seals yourself. It's not, rocket science. It takes a little practice, but you can learn how to do it. And for a few dollars, you can seal a window pretty well. Same thing with there's foam tape that's adhesive on one side, self-adhesive. Window insulation kits. It's a plastic sheeting. You might have seen it installed poorly and it looks all wrinkly and stuff. But if you do it right with you finish it off with a blow dryer, it takes all the crinkles out and you can barely tell it's there. Door sweeps. Um, and by the way, all of these links, which we are going to share with you, they're all videos. So they're all instructional videos from NYSERDA, and they're really good. They're simple to follow. This one I haven't actually viewed because I know how to install a light bulb. It only takes one person in my house to install a light bulb, but there's a video on it. Um, Advanced power strips, which eliminate what's called vampire energy, uh, and these outlet and switch gaskets, they're just little foam pieces the same size and shape as your outlet switch or your outlet or your light switch. And you just unscrew the screw for the cover, put the foam insert there, screw back on the cover, and it creates a little air seal, especially on your exterior walls. That's a pretty handy and easy fix. Okay, so if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Sean Seary.
Thanks, Joe. I can't speak highly enough about the switch and outlet gaskets, by the way. That's my favorite DIY thing. Um, so hello, everybody. My name is Sean. I work with the Mid-Hudson Regional Clean Energy Hub. I'm a community energy advisor. So my role within the hub and the greater mission of the Mid-Hudson Clean Energy Hub is to be that community-based organization. We're kind of boots on the ground. We're talking to folks day in, day out on how to make these energy efficiency improvements on their homes. We are based out of the Cornell Cooperative Extension. And so we operate primarily our hub is actually centralized at the Cornell Cooperative Extension in Dutchess County. But then we have an energy advisor who is assigned to each county in the 7-county Mid-Hudson region. So that includes Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, Rockland, Orange, Ulster, and Sullivan. So our mission is to provide free support for residents and businesses looking to make their home or workplace cleaner, greener, and more cost efficient. So the hub services, including what I do, is a lot of one-on-one energy advising, in-person and virtual energy efficiency workshops, and assistance with energy efficiency program applications. And so I'm really available to walk people through the entire energy efficiency journey. Next slide, Joe. So my role within the Putnam Energy Affordability Community Campaign is to provide those free consultations, that one-on-one energy advising, and then redirect people to any relevant energy efficiency program applications that I think they might be eligible for when we do these one-on-one energy advising. And we'll throw the links to both the Putnam Energy Affordability landing page, Joe's Sustainable Putnam website, and then my Mid-Hudson Regional Clean Energy Hub website as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so we are going to get really down into the nitty-gritty, into the weeds. I'm going to talk a lot primarily today about financial incentives. And so these are programs that are offered primarily through New York State. There are some utility-based rebates as well. in addition to tax credits that are offered by New York State. However, my role does not limit me just to doing program referrals to the NYSERDA-based programs, the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority programs. I will refer folks to any programs that I think are relevant, including our partners at Habitat for Humanity, for example. We work a lot with Putnam County Department of Social Services to get people enrolled in their suite of wraparound services as well. So my program assistance and applications are not just limited to energy efficiency, but to broader wraparound service-based programs as well, including our partners, Putnam Cap too, who I believe are on the call. But sort of the bread and butter, main, daily tasks tend to be helping folks access these financial incentives, including a suite of programs offered by the state, Empower Plus, which primarily looks at weatherization, Comfort Home, also a weatherization program, New York State Clean Heat, which helps residents access heat pump related incentives, and then New York Sun, which is the state's solar program as well. Next slide, please. So if you have any questions at any point, please feel free to throw them in the chat. This is a lot of info heavy slides, and I'm well aware of that. And that's because these are very info heavy programs. So, I'd say probably 9 out of my 10 calls outside of fielding, how can I lower my utility bill? All the calls that aren't that tend to be these programs about weatherization and how to weatherize your home. Remember Joe's second step of awe: assess, weatherize, electrify. So this is the weatherization stage. So NYSERDA offers a program called Empower Plus, which is sort of two programs, maybe not two programs in one, but it's split into two tiers. And so the low income tier for Empower Plus will help homeowners by covering up to about $14,000 in incentives to make an insulation, air sealing, ventilation, or other weatherization improvements on your home. And so a lot of people get caught up and they're saying, I'm getting the 14K check from the government. It's not exactly how it works. The state will pay a contractor up to that amount to perform any work that's needed on your home by first assessing the home and then providing that incentive to the contractor directly to perform the work on that home. This is an income eligible based program. And so the income threshold for a family of 4 in Putnam County currently is at or below $97,200 to be eligible for the low income incentive for Empower Plus. Next slide, please, Joe. There's then the moderate income tier of the Empower Plus program. Again, the Empower Plus program is sort of a 2-tier program. The moderate income incentive is a little bit less of a incentive upfront. So it will cover approximately, it will cover 50% of the project cost up to the incentive cap of $7,000 to make the same weatherization improvements on your home. And so it's either 50% or 7,000, basically whichever comes first. You might not need a $14,000 insulation job on your home. Your home may only need $4,000 or $5,000 worth of installation work. So then the moderate incentive income will only cover 50% of that. The moderate income program does require a cost match, and the income eligible threshold for the moderate income tier of Empower Plus is between 97,200 and 129,600. And so this is a pretty wide, expansive program for Empower Plus that will help residents make these energy efficiency improvements to their homes. And these programs are available to both renters and owners. A little easier to get these programs through the application stage when you own your home. With renters, it can be a little bit more difficult. However, it is available to renters as well. Next slide, please, Joe. So next we have the Comfort Home program, which is available to residents, homeowners, renters, again, who fall outside of the Empower Plus low to moderate income programming. So if you fall outside of that income range of maximum $129,000, then you would be eligible for the Comfort Home program, which is often called market rate. So this will, again, is a weatherization program. It will provide an incentive to make these improvements on your home. So this will cover anywhere from about 2,500 to up to $3,000, depending on the type of improvement on the home. And then there's an additional window add-on incentive of $2,000. So again, there's a little bit of something for everybody with the weatherization programs that are offered by New York State. Next slide, please. So we're going to transition a little bit and talk about the New York State Clean Heat Program, which is a rebate program that will assist homeowners with the purchase and installation of air source heat pumps, mini splits, which are a type of air source heat pump, ground source or geothermal heat pumps, and heat pump hot water heaters. This program, the rebate structure is dependent on your utility service provider. So in Putnam County, that's either NYSEG or Central Hudson, and the type of clean heating system. So whether it's a geothermal heat pump, a heat pump hot water heater, or an air source heat pump, that's what's going to dictate how much of a rebate you'll receive if your project is eligible for this program. Most of these incentives range between $1,000 to a maximum of $18,000. This program is structured a little differently from the Empower Plus and Weatherization program in that it's available to households, to all households, regardless of income levels. This is just a flat rate incentive for the install, the purchase and the install of a heat pump system. The real caveat, the real sort of sticking point for this program is that your home must be installing a full load heat pump system or bringing a partial load heat pump system to full load. What this means is if you're going to get eligible for this program and receive this incentive for the New York State Clean Heat Program, your home needs to be fully heated and cooled by a heat pump system. Or if it's currently partially heated and cooled by a heat pump system, it needs to be brought to full load to be eligible to receive that incentive. Next slide, please. We're going to change gears again a little bit to talk about the New York Sun program, which, like the Empower Plus, has a couple different tiers or features to it. The New York Sun solar panel install incentive will assist homeowners with the purchase and installation of a solar panel array. The standard incentive for the upstate region, which the Mid-Hudson region for the New York Sun program currently falls into, ranges between 15 cents to 40 cents per watt of nameplate capacity of the solar panel array or solar panel system. What this means is any appliance, look at your fridge, look at your oven, it's got a nameplate on it. It will tell you how much energy it uses. This incentive is based on that particular solar panel, and it does range between 15 cents up to 40 cents per watt. You know, for most residential, a modest residential solar panel install will be about anywhere from like 15 to 22-ish panels, or producing about 7 kilowatts. That, with the incentive, comes out to be roughly about $2,800 for reference. So a modest residential solar install can expect to see anywhere from 1,500 to maybe a max of about 3,000 for the incentive, depending on the size of your home and the size of that solar system. There's also the Affordable Solar Incentive, which is a program that is currently closed. It does offer a little bit more of a robust incentive for the install of solar panels. If you're income eligible, which is the same income eligibility as Empower Plus, historically that has been 80 cents per watt of nameplate capacity. However, that program is currently closed. So please keep in touch with myself or with Joe, and we will keep you updated. If this program opens back up, we will keep folks updated on that. Next slide, please, Joe. So under the New York Sun program is also a program called Community Solar. And so this is essentially a bill credit program. So this is ideal really for folks who may not want to install solar panels on their home. Their home might not be suitable to install solar panels on the roof or in the property. And this is also a great program for renters as well. This will provide a monthly bill credit of anywhere between 5 to 20% on your utility bill. It averages out for most people at about 10%. And what you're doing is you're basically subscribing to a community solar project. So the community solar project, also known as a solar farm, you may be driving alongside a highway upstate along, 87 and see one of these solar farms. These generate renewable energy on behalf of multiple customers. So basically, you are buying, so to speak, not necessarily buying, but you're basically taking a share of this um, energy that's produced by the community solar project. And you are then receiving a credit for the share of energy that's produced by the solar project. And most community solar projects, you'll see a either a dual billing or a consolidated billing aspect of that. Basically, what that means is, they'll send a credit to your utility provider, and then you'll pay the community solar project, or you'll just pay your bill directly to your utility provider. Next slide, Joe. There are some tax credits that are available for folks to make energy efficiency improvements on their home as well. There are currently two in New York State. There is a solar credit of 25% up to the cost of, or excuse me, 25% of the cost up to a maximum of $5,000. It's actually the same tax credit for geothermal or ground source heat pumps as well. 25% of the cost up to 5,000. The last remaining federal tax credit that is available for folks to make an energy efficiency improvement is the home electric vehicle charger tax credit. That is 30% of the cost up to $1,000, which currently is due to expire on June 30th, 2026. So if that's something on your mind, do it soon. But I also would like to caveat and add, we'll put a big asterisk here. I am not a tax specialist, so I cannot tell you how to do this. Please, that is way above my pay grade. Taxes are complicated enough. What I will recommend is to consult your tax specialist for more information and eligibility questions on how you may be able to receive these tax credits. Next slide, please. There are also some utility residential rebates that are available. This includes New York State Clean Heat. So I actually didn't mention this before, but the New York State Clean Heat, the program is sort of managed by the state, but then administered by the utilities. And so the New York State Clean Heat is sort of a dual program, but it is technically a utility residential rebate. And these are available for both Central Hudson and NYSEG clients in Putnam County. NYSEG also offers its own home insulation and air sealing rebate of up to a maximum of $2,000. But something that I would like to point out is that you cannot stack a utility residential rebate with Empower Plus. So if you're getting an Empower Plus incentive to do weatherization, you're not going to be eligible for a NYSEG air sealing rebate as well. It's really one or the other. Same thing goes with the Clean Heat program. The Empower Plus program primarily targets weatherization. Um, However, some projects can get approved for heat pump installs if their home is sufficiently weatherized enough. So you wouldn't be able to stack both the New York State Clean Heat program and the Empower Plus program as well. Next slide, please, Joe. So I know that was a lot of information. I'm available for any questions. If you did manage to get some questions in the chat, now's the time that we can go over those things. And I did want to do a little shout out to Community Solar. I'm a renter. I am not a homeowner, and I see pretty consistent bill credits of about 10% on my utility bill at home. So that's not a common phrase that I hear is that this is a scam. Community Solar, it's not a scam. It's straight up bill credit. And for some people, $10 is a lot, and it's a big difference on your utility bill. So
Thanks, Sean. That was great.
sure,
It was a lot of information. I
yeah,
always feel
it
like I
is.
learned something new every time I hear you talk about all these programs. And it is, I mean, the good news is you don't have to worry about remembering every program. Like you can just ask Sean.
Yeah, just ask me.
Tell him I'm doing this project. What should I
Yeah.
be, applying for? And he'll
You
and
know,
he'll help
I
you
can't
out.
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast most days, but you give me some program information and I'll sit and talk with you for a couple of hours.
So, any questions? And if you want to unmute to ask your question, if that's easier, feel free. You could raise a hand. Okay, I see a question from Alana. who's asking, do the Empower Plus and or Comfort Home programs cover roof replacements or repairs as part of weatherization?
Uh, well, the broad answer is no. The very like in the weeds question is sometimes. And so it's tricky with weatherization for Empower Plus. There is some funding available to cover what is called a health and safety measure. Um, More often than not, if it's a full roof replacement, that's not going to be covered under the Empower Plus program. Those health and safety measures are usually like small holes in a roof, small holes in the exterior wall. You're not often going to see a full roof replacement or ever really see a roof replacement through the Empower Plus program. Um, they will fund some home repairs uh, if it's basically deemed a health and safety measure, and that is something that your contractor, when they're doing the audit, will help determine when they're doing that. A common phrase with the building performance professionals is call a qualified specialist because the auditors are, they're there to set the baseline, and then the auditor is going to connect you with the staff member at that contractor's office who's doing the physical work. Sometimes they're the same person. They're not always the same person though. So sometimes your auditor is also the person who's going to come fill your attic with some loose fill or pack in some dents back into your exterior walls, but not always the same. Oh, I'm
That's
sorry,
better.
is it
That's
is it
better.
better now?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, that microphone is real finicky. Um, so there is a program called the Weatherization Assistance Program that is offered by Westcop, which is the service provider for both Putnam County and Westchester County's community action programs. The weatherization program will cover more robust weatherization improvements to your home, like a roof replacement. The tricky thing about the weatherization assistance program, at least in Putnam County, is that it is very long wait list to receive an application. I mean, I've heard anywhere from about 12 months just to get the application, let alone to apply and be approved. So
You
that's
you
really
get on
the
the
only.
wait list.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And I can help you get on the wait list for the weatherization program as well. Um, I tell people if that's what you need, strap in. It's going to be a long ride. Um, there are some housing grant programs available. I just scratched the surface with what programs are available. We can get real in the weeds. We can do an hour
Yeah.
presentation on just that.
And,
So
and yeah. And
yeah,
another, issue with, speaking of like getting roofs repaired and that kind of thing, Habitat for Humanity, the Dutchess County Habitat for Humanity is now doing work in Putnam County. It's limited, but that's also a potential option. And we can make a connection there for anybody that's interested in that. There's another question in the chat. Um, from Paul. He says, in December, I did a full load upgrade of our HVAC system to heat pumps. Good for you, Paul. I know that the contractor applied for certain state rebates, but I'm not sure which. So I was wondering if any of these can be applied for retroactively. I'll just say, and then I'll turn it over to you, Sean, but um, probably not. But I will say that usually contractors let you know what they applied for on the proposal. So I would go back to the proposal and see if it's listed there, which rebates you received. But if not, Paul, I'll let Sean answer the second half of the question there.
yeah. I mean, I would say the same thing. A lot of contractors will do the at purchase point rebate. And so they'll just shave it off the top of the bill. And so that also needs to be communicated by the contractor as well. So that should have been communicated to you as the client. Um, there is a look back period. I don't, and I can't speak fully to this because I've never had to use it. But there is a look back period. I do not know how long, um, what the statute is for that. So, Paul, yeah, I'd be happy to dive deeper. Joe would be happy to as well, and we can get down to the bottom of it. The rebate structure for HVAC, most people tend to do the shave off the top. But it is the client, or excuse me, it is the contractor's responsibility to communicate that to the client. So yeah, maybe we can talk offline about that one because that can be tricky.
Yeah. And Deborah asks, can you say more about how Habitat for Humanity, what they'll do for families in Putnam County? Um, I don't have specifics, Deborah, but I know that they do, some significant repairs of people's homes in Putnam. Um, but it is limited. They are intending to grow that. And if you have, if you know of people, if you have clients, that are in need, I can definitely put you in touch with folks there. We've just begun talking with them, actually.
Yeah, I can add a little bit to that too, Joe,
Sure.
because I'm in pretty regular contact with Habitat in
Oh, okay.
Douglas as well. Yeah, yeah. They have a differing funding cycle than a lot of these other programs that I refer folks to. But last I spoke to their one of their staff members over there, and bear with me, I'm looking at my other screen. I've got this like, spaceship set up at home. Um, they're not building homes currently in Putnam County. Um, as I understand, the current cap for homes in Putnam County is 2,500. They're looking to increase the funding cycle to 3 grand for their next funding cycle. Um,
That's
typically
that's per home.
per home, correct. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not as robust for Putnam County just because they don't have the resources there.
Yeah.
Um, and so the what's covered typically, at least from what I spoke last at the end of the year last year from Habitat for Humanity, is they're looking primarily at accessibility to the home. They'll cover exterior walls, some interior work, exterior roofing, plumbing, electrical, some painting and landscaping as well. Um, but yeah, we do have their contact at Habitat for Humanity too, and they can definitely go into much more detail. Deborah, we can even, find the time we can set up a three-way call too, if that would work. Yeah.
I think we
So,
should
Sean,
share vocally a shout out from Marlene, who says, shout out to Sean for helping a lot of older adults through the Office of Senior Resources. We appreciate your guidance. So that's nice.
Here, here. Thanks for being here, Marlene, from the Office of Senior Resources. It's another one of our partners.
Yeah, we do have a lot of our program partners, the Putnam Energy Affordability partners on this call. So thank you guys for
Yeah,
joining very
Putnam
much.
Cap
It
is
means a lot.
here.
Mhm.
so
So,
Sean,
oh,
Yes.
go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
I just scheduled my appointment for a comfort home evaluation.
Okay.
We're doing window replacements. The house is from the 1950s, has single pane windows.
Oh, wow.
Um, and my question was, we already are working we should be ordering the windows pretty soon. There's a 10-week lead time. So we're in the middle of the project when they will come and do the assessment. Is that any issue? Is there an issue with the project already being underway in order to look for that possible $3,000 up to $3,000 rebate?
So you've already had the audit done. You've
No, no,
been in
no,
the
no.
works.
I
Oh,
just made the
gotcha.
appointment. The
Oh,
appointment's
okay.
6 weeks out.
Yep.
The windows are 10 weeks out. Um, I don't know
Okay.
if
So you're worried that there might just be some like misalignment. Well, who's the contractor, just out of curiosity, if you don't
it's
mind sharing?
it's Gilco. It's the big window contractor. I mean, big
Gotcha.
window
Okay.
supplier, one of their
Gotcha.
contractors.
Okay. Yeah, we might have to talk offline about that.
Okay.
I don't foresee that being an issue. Uh, but we'd have to check in, make sure you get assigned to, a relevant within the program insulator, if that's going to be I want to understand where you're at in the actual application process itself. So
We
you've
haven't. s-
you haven't even
I
started yet.
I
Okay.
just heard
Yeah.
about. I mean, just being
Yeah.
at this meeting, I heard about the comfort
Oh, I
home
got you. Sure.
program. I
Sure.
just scheduled my
Yeah.
appointment, and it would be windows. We've already done all the insulation that we need to
Oh,
do.
gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think let's set some time aside to meet and discuss offline for sure. You can meet me in person at the Brewster office of CCE, which is right next to the my goodness, drawing a blank here. The DMV, goodness. DMV is not a
Okay.
very memorable place. I've never had a great time at the DMV. But no, we share a building with the DOH, with the DMV. I'm there typically once or twice a week, but I'm happy to jump on a Zoom call or we can discuss over the phone as well. I don't foresee that being an issue. Um, Usually with these state programs, they have a year from start to end to get that project finished. And so
Okay.
it's not uncommon to see things get held back for a few weeks at a time, sometimes a couple months. It's really, contingent on the contractor and how savvy they are at getting these state forms in and sent into New York State. It's kind of a
Right.
tricky topic. Um, you know, there's a lot of behind the scenes work between these state programs and the contractors. And how fast or slow a project moves forward is based on how quickly the contractor fills out the paperwork for the incentives and rebates, gets it sent to the state, and then the state sometimes doesn't get things well approved as promptly as they can, I would say.
Okay.
That's about as much as I can say without getting in trouble.
Okay.
And then it gets kicked back to the contractor. They come do the work. But there's a full year to get a project done, start to finish.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, I'll reach out to you
Yeah, absolutely.
in the next week or so. Great.
For
Thank
sure.
you.
Mhm.
Other questions? Well, I guess we answered everything. All right. Well, I do encourage you to, sign up for a consultation. I actually, there's a couple of people in the meeting who have already signed up for consultations, which is great. But yeah, feel free to. You can always, go to the Putnam Energy Affordability webpage and sign up for one at any time. I hope you gained some good information tonight. And if there are no other questions, going once, going twice, going three times. Thanks very much, folks, for participating tonight, for joining us. And please do visit our website. There's more information available there, and we'll look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you joining us tonight.